Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome again. I'm Janelle Ford. I am the Executive Director of Marketing Communications for the City of Killeen, and we welcome you to the 20th anniversary of the Killeen Regional Airport. Thank you. We are going to kick it off with our national anthem, and that's going to be performed by our 1st Cavalry Division Band. If everyone could please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. We truly appreciate our partners. So welcome to all of our distinguished guests, including the City of Killeen leaders and staff, any council members who are present, political and military leaders, and community members. Over the past 2 decades, our airport has grown to become a vital hub of connectivity and culture. We're here to celebrate the incredible journey that this airport has taken us on. From day one, our airport strived to connect our citizens and our city with the rest of the world. We've been promoting travel, promoting tourism, and this not only enhances the lives of our citizens and our community, but it also plays a crucial role in driving our economic growth. Today, as we look back at the 20 years, we also look forward to a future filled with promise and filled with potential. It's amazing to have so many here in attendance today who are also here to witness the opening 20 years ago. Please raise your hand if you were here on August 2nd, 2004. Awesome, awesome. Our airport success is a testament to the hard work and dedication of the many individuals and the organizations. And we also are honored to acknowledge your contributions. Thank you all for being here to celebrate us. Let us make this a memorable day as we honor the past and we look ahead to an even brighter future. I'm now going to call up our Madam Mayor, Debbie Nash King, to offer a few remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon to our esteemed guests, including political dignitaries, Fort Cavazos leadership, city staff, city council, and community leaders. Today marks a remarkable milestone in our city's history. It is a testament to our city growth and progress, but even more reflects the hard work, dedication, and vision of so many individuals who have contributed to its success. 20 years ago, when the first flight took off from our runway, we were embarked on a journey of opportunity and vision. Our airport has since become a vital space for our residents, our families, soldiers, and business travelers navigating the world. This airport is more than just a transportation facility. It's a gateway to dreams, adventures, and possibilities. It is a source of pride for our community, our city, showcasing our commitment to excellence and innovation, fostering economic growth, and enhancing the livelihood of our residents. As we reflect on the past 2 decades, We must acknowledge the visionaries who foresaw this project's potential and the countless workers who brought it to life. Their contributions have laid the foundation for a legacy that will endure for generations. We are deeply grateful for the ongoing efforts of our dedicated airport staff, airline partners, and all those who ensure the seamless operation of this complex and dynamic facility. Your hard work and commitment makes our airport a preference choice for our residents. In closing, the council and I thank the airport staff for your unwavering dedication to safety, service, and efficiency. Which is the backbone of our airport's success. Together, we will continue to soar to new heights. Thank you to everyone for attending today's event, and happy 20th anniversary to the City of Killeen Airport. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. We will now welcome our Assistant City Manager, Ms. Lori Wilson.
Well, good afternoon. And again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us in celebrating this momentous occasion. When our airport first opened its doors, it was a bold step toward enhancing our city's infrastructure and expanding our horizons. In 20 years, it has evolved into so much more than anyone could have imagined, playing a crucial role in the economic and social development of our city. Our airport has facilitated millions of journeys, brought people together, and opened a world of opportunities to travelers of all ages. It has become an integral part of our city's identity, symbolizing our progress and our aspirations. As the mayor mentioned, this success story is the result of the collective effort of many organizations and individuals, including the dedicated staff who keep it running smoothly each and every day. I want to take a moment to recognize our exceptional airport team. Your dedication to providing excellent service, ensuring safety, and continuously improving operations has made our airport a model of efficiency and hospitality. Your efforts do not go unnoticed, and they are deeply, deeply appreciated. Looking ahead, we're excited about our future. We envision more additions, new destinations, and continued growth. We're committed to embracing new technologies to enhance the passenger experience and maintaining our position as a leading airport in the region. We are focused on sustainable growth, ensuring that our airport remains a vital asset for our city for many years to come. So here's to the next 20 years of innovation, growth, and success. Happy anniversary to our airport. Congratulations and thank you to all who made GRK possible.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm now going to invite up our Garrison Commander, Colonel Lakeisha Stokes, to give a few words.
Good afternoon. I'm Representative Brad Buckley, Chet Edwards, Scott Cosper, Mayor Debbie Nash King, City of Killeen personnel and community members, and also Team Cavazos and Team Killeen Regional Airport. I'm Colonel Lakeisha Stokes, the Fort Cavazos Garrison Commander, and it is a privilege and honor to join you today in celebrating the 20th anniversary of Killeen Regional Airport. As the Garrison Commander, I am deeply aware of the critical role this airport plays in both our military and civilian communities. Over the past 2 decades, this airport has been more than just a hub for travel. It has been a lifeline for our soldiers and their families. It has facilitated deployments, welcomed home our heroes, and served as a bridge connecting us to the rest of the world. The significance of this facility cannot be overstated, and its impact resonates through every aspect of our operations and daily lives. This milestone is a testament to our vision, dedication, and hard work for many. From the airport staff and local government officials to the military personnel and community members, each of you has contributed to the success we celebrate today. Your unwavering commitment to excellence has ensured that this airport remains a vital asset to our region. Thank you. As we commemorate 20 years of service, we look forward to the future with great anticipation. We envision continued growth and innovation, strengthening our infrastructure, and enhancing the services that support both our military and civilian populations. Together, we will strive to meet new challenges and seize opportunities, ensuring that Killeen Regional Airport remains a cornerstone of our community. Thank you for your dedication, support, and partnership. Congratulations on this remarkable achievement. Here's to many more years of shared success and progress. Thank you.
And now we'll bring up Representative Brad Buckley, who will also have remarks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's an honor to be with you today, and my remarks will be very brief. But when I think back on this airport, to me it goes back further than 20 years. Raise your hand if you ever flew out of the old Killeen Airport on Rio Airways. I took a prom trip out of there one time, flew to Dallas for dinner and back. And that was probably the only time I really flew out of there. But, you know, when I think about this facility, I think about being a young veterinarian that was recruited onto the Chamber of Commerce board and sitting in one of my first meetings and General Robert Shoemaker presenting an idea that was a regional effort. And I guess being young and dumb, I sort of spoke up about, well, you know, that could benefit other communities or whatever. Shouldn't we be standing the line to make sure it benefits Killeen? Never said a word, but he pulled me aside after the meeting and he talked to me and spoke very directly to me about the importance of a regional effort. And the importance of that, a rising tide lifts all boats, and then what we can do together is far greater than what we can do separately. And I think what you're seeing here today, what we're celebrating, is an unbelievable example of that. It is absolutely an example that joint use requires joint effort, and then it has joint benefits. It's an amazing asset for our community, and it is a model of what governments should be doing more of. And that is locking arms, joining together to do good things for the citizens of one community, but more importantly, citizens of all communities. So it is an honor to be here today to celebrate this great anniversary or birthday, or I'd call the birthday probably 1997, really, when smarter people than I got together and envisioned this. But thank you so much for having me. Congratulations to this wonderful facility. Fly GRK. Thank you.
So the aviation team, thank you, sir. The aviation team, as well as the communications and marketing team, wanted to kind of put together the last 20 years into a quick snippet video to showcase to everyone. So we appreciate everyone who took a part in this, and we are going to roll this historical presentation for you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Killeen, Texas. The weather is partly cloudy and the temperature is a pleasant 80 degrees. The local time is 12:35 p.m. Central Time. Thank you for flying with us. Please stay tuned and keep your eyes clear until we are parked at the gate.
Well, things look a little different than they did 20 years ago. What you see today is a 91,000 square foot terminal with 2 gates, 6 passenger boarding bridges, 1,500 parking spaces, and soon to be 2 commercial sized hangars, half a dozen flights a day, and hundreds of daily visitors. The airport was birthed in June of 2000 when former Killeen Mayor Maureen Jewett signed a lease agreement between the City of Killeen and the Department of the Army for the joint use of Robert Gray Army Airfield. The groundbreaking was held on October 2nd, 2000. Then the first commercial flight flew out of this airport on August 2nd, 2004. We had about 800 parking spaces, a terminal named in honor of former Mayor Ted Connell, and in 2008, the country's first glass boarding bridges. At that time, our city's population was about 100,000. We now know it's about 160,000. We had an abundance of community support to open this airport, and without political backing, we'd have not been able to get this project off the ground. There was a federal prohibition against use of Robert Gray Army Airfield, but due to our amazing community and the tireless efforts of U.S. Representative Chet Edwards, the prohibition was lifted. Hey, you've heard the old saying that it would take an act of Congress to get something done. Well, in this case, it really did. On this 20th anniversary of its launch, we get to enjoy top-notch concessions areas, restaurants, and shops. We've got comfy seating, charging stations, free high-speed internet, and we also have covered and solar integration parking on the way. The airport leases space to 9 business and organizations with just over 200 employees working at the airport. Passengers and guests are greeted by some of the fastest service, the best customer experiences, and unique amenities that any airport could offer. Yes, the airport provides a service, but it also provides jobs to the community. And if you ask those who work here, many of whom have been here for many years, they will tell you it simply feels like a family here. It's not just a tagline. Your Central Texas hometown airport is what we embody each and every day as employees, citizens, and residents. We've had TV shows, commercials, movies filmed here and welcomed dozens of celebrities, politicians, and well-known athletes and dignitaries. We've even had a Super Bowl ad. But our mission of making travel easy, stress-free, and flyer-friendly has remained the same since day one. We may look a little different than we did 20 years ago, but our hearts are still in the same place, listening to our customers and offering the best service to our passengers each and every day.
Thank you. And we have so many people, as we've mentioned in this room, who were very integral in the origination of this airport 20 years ago. And we just want to hear from them and their perspectives from how it's gone the last 20 years and what it was like just on the first day here. So we're going to start with bringing up former U.S. Congressman Chet Edwards, followed by Scott Cosper. Thank you.
Janelle, thank you very much. Mayor Nash King, Representative Buckley, Colonel Stokes, more mayors, former mayors than I've ever seen in one room. I don't think I can adequately say what a personal privilege it is for Leanne and me to be here with each of you today. Especially since I know you know it is risky to put a recovering politician in front of a microphone and then ask him to share reflections. But Leanne and I are here for one reason today, to salute and celebrate a community that we came to love and respect during our 14 years of working with you in Congress. This airport, to me, is a symbol of what is good about Killeen. You're a can-do community that has always gone the extra mile for Fort Hood and now Fort Cavazos. It's soldiers and their families. You're a community that reflects the rich diversity of our country. And you've shown others what neighbors can do if they work together, such as this airport. You know, there are a couple of things that I would like to reflect on if I could. First, the meaning of this airport, and secondly, the values that made this airport a reality. Now some, not you, but some might just say, well, an airport's a runway or two, a terminal and a tower. But that wouldn't even begin to tell the story. I begin with this. This airport is about family. It's here that families are reunited. And I've spent some time in airport terminals over my career. There is just nothing better than to stand outside of a gate and to watch excited grandkids run off a plane to hug their grandparents, to see brothers and sisters, perhaps long separated, fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, come together and have hugs that you can tell by watching them come straight from the heart. And there truly is nothing like the sight you and I have seen here and elsewhere, to see soldiers coming home from long deployments, many deployments in combat, and to be hugged for the first time in months or a year by their spouses, by their children, their loved ones. So this airport's about family. It's also about jobs and opportunity. Because as you know, in our competitive world, a community just simply can't grow and build jobs without a good commercial airport. And you know what? This not only means jobs, but having a community that can provide economic opportunity really gets back to family, because it means that there can be potential jobs for our sons and daughters so they don't have to move halfway across the country to find a job to support their future families. And yes, this airport is about our nation's security. As you know better than anyone, Fort Cavazos is a critical part of our national defense system. And while military planes land here, and that is important to this joint use airport, we also know that contractors and businesses and partners and people coming out of the commercial side of this airport are so important for Fort Cavazos, what it is today and what it will be tomorrow. So today is worth celebrating. This airport is meaningful because it is about family, jobs, and business, and our nation's security. But I'd also like to reflect on the values that made this airport what it is today, that made it a reality. I think the very existence of this airport reflects the strong values of the citizens of Killeen. Without those values, you and I wouldn't be here today. To begin, Brad mentioned this, it took the vision, the value. It took the value of vision. Community leaders had the vision to see that the old Killeen Airport simply wasn't going to be adequate to continue commercial service in the world of aviation as it was changing. So you planted the seeds for this airport long before it became a reality. And I think it is appropriate that we're meeting here in the Ted Cannell Terminal. Ted Cannell, truly the father of Central Texas aviation. It also took the value of working together. You as community leaders never asked me to pass something through Congress that would shove legislation down the throat of the Army. You asked me, and we joined together in going to General Tom Schwartz, then 3 Corps commander, and asking him if he would have the Army commence a study to see if this would be in the Army's best interest. And the fact, it always said a lot to me that this community wanted to be sure that this joint use airport would be in the interest of the Army before you pushed legislation to try to make it happen. At every step of this way, you heard Maureen Jewett's role, a longtime friend, Scott Cosper, that was involved in so many ways, and so many of you in this room, too many to name. At every step of the way, you led the fight, and you worked with state officials and federal officials, elected officials, and FAA staff to make this happen. This airport also took the value of hard work. From the vision to developing a concept, to providing the authorization of funding to build the airport, It took a lot of hard work by local leaders, contractors, and yes, the everyday workers who actually did the work to build this great airport. And it took the value of a can-do attitude. Throughout the process, I remember, including at its very inception, there were naysayers. Said that is just never going to happen. But you never gave up. You kept fighting, and you made it happen. And some remember in this room that even after this airport was open, 2 airlines announced that they were going to close service to Killeen. With this new beautiful facility and all the efforts and millions of dollars that went into it. I remember that because I remember the late night, or it might have been more of a 2 or 3 a.m. early morning call from Scott. He called me to say, Chet, we have a problem. Well, those 2 airlines just forgot one thing. A bill was pending before Congress that was going to provide billions of dollars of emergency relief fund to the airlines. So with your help and with your work, we happened to add a brief little amendment that said any airline that cuts off commercial air service during a time of combat, and we were in the middle of the Iraq War, would not get a penny of those billions of dollars of emergency funding. You know, Brad, I know we don't often say public service is fun, but I will tell you, that's one of those moments that's just flat fun. And guess what? They called you back a few days later and decided the wisdom was to keep their service going here. You know. I will never forget what I saw in this community. And I will tell you, as a reflection, as I get to a few personal reflections, if I could, it broke my heart in 2004 when, at the end of that year, I lost the right to represent Bell County in the great place in Killeen. It broke my heart that the legislature had redistricted us into different districts. But I will never, ever forget all those experiences here and the lessons learned. I want to share just a couple with you because it ties into what today's all about. I'll never forget meeting the parents of Arden Cooper in the months after Desert Storm in Iraq, where they accepted a Silver Star posthumously in behalf of their son, Arden, a young Fort Hood soldier who saw a wounded comrade in the sands of Kuwait in Iraq and put his body on top of his comrade's body to try to protect him. And in doing so, gave his life for his comrade and for you and me, for our country. Arden Cooper and his parents taught me that every day we ought to be grateful for the sacrifices made for you and me to have the privilege of being American citizens. I will never forget the 29-year-old widow who a decade later in the Second Iraq War came up to me at an event at the Great Place and didn't ask me for a thing for her. I'll never forget, she said, Congressman, what can I do to help other widows here and their children deal with the grief that they're facing? She taught me, that widow taught me what patriotism and service and compassion are all about. I'll never forget December 16th of 1995, which turned out to be 2 days before our first son, JT, was born. We were at a late night deployment of Fort Hood soldiers to Bosnia. And I went down the first row, and Brad, sitting about where you are, was a young specialist with his wife, his very pregnant wife, next to him. Well, as a 42-year-old about to be first-time dad, when I saw the specialist's pregnant wife, I just let it go. I talked about how excited I was, what a thrill it was going to be a father. and how meaningful that was to me, and had just meant the world. And I look forward to being there by Leanne's bedside when our son came into this world. And without a hint of complaint or resignation, he said this: "Sir, I missed the birth of our first child because I was in Desert Storm. And I will miss the birth of our second child because I'll be in Bosnia." That young specialist, that young Fort Hood soldier taught me the true meaning of patriotism. I will always be grateful to those young Army soldiers and their families who taught us what our country's about, what Fort Hood, Fort Cavazos is about, and what this community is about, because I've never seen a community, and you talk to members of Congress all across the country, that has done more to be married at the hip with its military installation. No community has done more than Killeen has done to support the soldiers and families of Fort Cavazos and previously Fort Hood. You know, I hope we can learn from those who taught me here. I hope we can learn we as Americans don't have to hate each other because we have different points of view. I will always be deeply grateful to Congressman John Carter, now a long-term friend, because he allowed me, after I was redistricted out of Fort Hood, to work with him as he was fighting to build a new Darnell Army Medical Center for Fort Hood, provide better medical care for Fort Hood soldiers, military retirees, and Fort Hood children. We were friends who worked together on a bipartisan basis for the good of then Fort Hood and for military families. And that's the way Congress should work. And I must say, I know Ms. Wyman is here with Senator Cornyn. I appreciate always the way Senator Cornyn walked across the party lines to work in behalf of the Army, the military, and specifically for Fort Hood and Fort Cavazos. I'll finish with this. I now have the honor of co-chairing the Arlington National Cemetery Advisory Committee. And as I walk through those hallowed hills of Arlington and look at the 400,000 white headstones, I don't know if the Americans buried under those headstones were Republicans or Democrats, independents, liberal, moderate, conservative, whatever those terms might mean. But what I do know is that many of them fought in combat and many of them died in combat to protect your freedom and my freedom. And it just seems as we celebrate this airport, what it means in its partnership with Fort Hood and what Cavazos and what the Army means, what Fort Cavazos means to our country, we ought to honor all of them. We ought to honor them by recognizing that we should celebrate our differences. Don't let our political and religious differences divide us. Let us come together over those differences and celebrate what they really are, their freedom. Freedom that our soldiers are willing to give their lives to defend. And let me say, I do think this airport does honor Arden Cooper. This airport, in a meaningful way, does honor that 29-year-old widow and does honor that young specialist who didn't see the birth of his 2 children. As we celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Killeen Regional Airport, I salute you. I salute this community and the can-do, working together values that you showed to make this airport possible. Those are the very values that could make our communities and our country such a better place. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Beautiful, sir. Thank you so much. We will now bring up former mayor, former state representative, former member of the Aviation Expansion Committee, Scott Cosper, up to give a few reflections and remarks.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be here. And Chet and Leanne, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us. And I want you to know I am not crazy. I would have to be crazy if there wasn't a purpose. Following Congressman Edwards, there's never been a more true statesman or legislative giant that has served our area and our region and has been absolutely and has been committed to our soldiers, their families, and the region that supports them and surrounds them. And so with that, that's why I am here, is to be able to tell from the community perspective how appreciative we are to you and so many that you brought to the table, Kay Bailey Hutchison and others that not only made this project able to come to fruition, but many others that we will get into another time. So with that being said, again, thank you, Chet, for joining us today and sharing your comments. Thank you, Leanne, for being here. As we were preparing for today, Christy and I were looking through some old pictures of the grand opening, and many of you were on the first flight that we chartered. That was the first flight out of here, and it brought back lots of memories, and it reminded me of all the different mayors and their city council members that worked together, that had the tenacity to come together, put a plan together, and bring the right people to the table in order to move this project forward. And as we went from one mayor to another, continued that continuity to do this. So as Chet has already spoken, I believe that our community has the incredible can-do attitude, the persistence in problem solving, and that we could accomplish whatever it was that we were facing in order to do great things, even when it required crossing party lines. In the 90s, you've already heard that Killeen was a fast-growing and thriving community and area, and our regional passenger air service was in transition. The airlines were transitioning from turboprop planes to the faster and lighter regional jets, and that was created a problem and a crisis for us because we at that time had Skylark Field, and we were landlocked by a state highway on each end. There was no way to extend the runway, and so therefore we had to come together and start reviewing options about what do we do now? Because we cannot accommodate the regional jets. Those are coming, we can't stop it, and we have a crisis. Well, so after many people and a lot of fretting and going through all the options, the idea was brought about that, well, what about joint use? Well, what about joint use? Here we are, and our staff and our leaders worked with Garrison staff and their leaders and said, well, does this concept work? Is this going to have an adverse effect on the military? Is this going to be something we should do? And after working together, we all agreed that yes, this is something that we could do and can move forward. And as Chet mentioned, General Schwartz at that time commissioned a study to be done to prove up that that's what we needed to do, and we did it. As I think Mike had said earlier, it literally required an act of Congress. Chet, thank you for getting us that act of Congress, because absolutely, Kathy, because with that, we wouldn't have even been able to move forward. But once the act of Congress was initiated and we began moving forward, Chet worked tirelessly and had with the full support of his staff to work together to begin the design, to move our project forward, and to put together what we are now looking at and enjoying today. But that required a tremendous amount of support and hard work from him and his congressional staff. Chris Chawastik, John Conger, and many others worked tirelessly with us to bring forward the funding that we used to fund the design, and then to bring forward the funding for the construction of this airport. And that was a monumental task. And I want to say that no one, in my opinion, we have been blessed with many congressional leaders, legislative leaders in our region, but no one has been more effective or more committed to Central Texas than our congressman at the time, Chet Edwards. And evidence of you being here today just proves that your commitment lives on, and we appreciate you so very, very much, Chet. So with that being said, I just want to say that following one of the stories, I'm sorry, I lost my place there for a second. One story I'd like to share is that during this time in the period of transition when we were going through design, we were getting ready to go to bid, getting ready to start construction on the project, 9/11 occurred. We were right in the middle of that process of soliciting the bids and beginning the construction when all airport requirements for the security changed, from building materials to drop-off setback lanes to bomb detecting equipment and et cetera. Everything changed. And as a result of that, anyway, we could not get answers about what the new changes were, what the new materials were, all of the things that we needed to do to get to construction. We were literally, to use an aviation term, we were parked on the apron. There was no moving forward. We were stuck. And at that time, Mayor Jewett, who's here, Mayor Pro Tem Kathy Gilmore, who is here, and myself all got on a plane and we went to Washington, D.C. The first office we visited was Chet's office, and he, with his staff, went with us to meet with the Department of Transportation, the FAA, Homeland Security, to find out if you don't know what those new requirements are, who does, and how do we quickly resolve these issues so that we can get our airport back on track. So with all of that being said, this has just been a monumental effort, and I appreciate the commitment from all of you, the many mayors that this has traversed, and the support of everyone that has brought this together. I've got one additional story before I wrap up that's worth telling, and shortly after the facility, Chet mentioned this, but shortly after the facility was opened, we were enjoying air service from 3 major carriers, American, Delta, and Continental at the time. And we at the time, the airlines were facing bankruptcy and they were looking to the federal government for assistance. And like Chet had mentioned, that whenever they had filed or announced, dropped the press release that they were leaving, Chet and his staff got together, they jumped into action. And by 2 a.m., we had the airlines who were in a crisis, wanting to know what can we do to get this project back on track. And we didn't lose any air service in our community at the time. So Chet was very effective with that. But again, from the community's perspective, what a great facility that we have here. We've come so far. The future could not be more bright. And I appreciate you for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you.
Appreciate it, sir. So before we get to our presentations, we have Mr. Michael Wilson, who's going to come up he's the Executive Director of Aviation and started here almost exactly 1 year after the opening, right, sir?
1 year, 19 years yesterday.
Yes, so welcome, Mr. Mike Wilson.
But I also want to thank everybody today for coming out to celebrate with us. You know, when we began planning this thing, I had no idea how many people were going to show up after 20 years. But after we sent out the save the date emails, we started getting phone calls and emails from folks, and everybody was just so excited about coming. And it was just evident how much pride that everybody had in this airport and the role that they played in making this dream a reality. And that pride of ownership is evident today by all of y'all that are here. And we had many more that wanted to attend but weren't able to today. We could have filled this place up. But thank you for being here. Yeah, we just heard from former Congressman Edwards, former Mayor, State Representative Cosper about the issues and hurdles that had to be overcome and the efforts that went into getting this project off the ground. And I want to thank everybody that played a part in that, which, if I was guessing, was the majority of folks in here today. Thank you so much for that. I also want to thank the past and present Aviation Department employees who took what the community gave us and made that dream become a reality and to move that forward into what we have today. You know, I don't have time to recognize everybody that's played a part through the years, but I do want to take a few minutes just to recognize the 4 management folks for the airport that started this. Mr. Don Christian was the Director of Aviation. Don had the vision and the leadership working with the local community and our congressional leadership and state leadership. Jim Livingston was our Assistant Director. He was in charge of the budget and worked all the leases for the new tenants we had. And then Mr. Glenn Birmingham was our facilities manager, who ensured that the brand new shiny toy that he'd been given, this terminal, was as good a shape and good as it was when he retired as it was the day he got it. So for you gentlemen, thank you for your support. Thank you for your vision. Also left out one person, Mr. John Sutton. He started as a project manager for the construction of the airport. Then when it opened, he was the operations manager. Shortly after that, he was hired as the director of aviation, who made the mistake of hiring me. And then he retired as the assistant city manager. Again, thank you guys for your leadership. The previous speakers have spoke about how important GRK is to the community, Fort Cavazos, and our entire Central Texas region. They also spoke about some of the accomplishments that we've had over the last 20 years. Since the airport opened in 2004, we've continued to upgrade and improve this airport. We've improved safety areas on the airfield. We've expanded the size of the ramp, almost doubled the size of the paved parking lot, increased the fuel farm, added 2 glass boarding bridges, which were the first in the United States, and increased the size of this terminal by almost 8,000 square feet. Including what we have programmed for this year, we will have received 51 grants for almost $75 million over the last 20 years. And many of those grants not only benefited the airport facility that you're in today, but also rehabilitated the runway and taxiways and made critical safety improvements to those facilities that benefited all the users of Robert Gray Army Airfield, civilian and military. Additionally, we received a DEAG grant from the state of Texas for about $3.5 million for the renovation of the Army Radar Approach Control Facility. The partnership that we have with Fort Cavazos and Robert Gray Army Airfield is truly something special. You know, I've attended joint use conferences all over the country through the years, spoke to a lot of airport directors, and I can tell you that not many have the type of relationship that we have today. Most of you know we were awarded the 2022 Army Community Partnership Award, which is something that I think both of our teams, the Robert Gray team and our team, are very, very proud of. Today, we're celebrating the first 20 years of the Killeen Fort Hood Regional Airport, now known as Killeen Regional Airport. But we're busy preparing for the next 20 years. In the last 5 years or so, we've replaced many of the original major systems in the building, including the HVAC system, the 4 original boarding bridges, the outbound baggage handling system, just to name a few. And we're almost complete with solar integrated covered parking with LED lighting that will not only cut our electrical consumption and costs, but also provide a critical customer enhancement for our passengers. And we have many more improvements, projects that we're working on that I don't have time to mention. You know, we learned during COVID that the long-term sustainability of the airport cannot rely solely on airline revenue. We had to find ways and initiatives to diversify our revenue stream. We began working with Fort Cavazos with a new and larger intergovernmental service agreement that not only continued to strengthen our partnership, but also financially benefited both the airport and Fort Cavazos. We've completed the 23,000 square foot hangar complex with another 12,000 square foot hangar complex right next to it that'll be leased to CSI Aviation. And not only has CSI Aviation leased the hangars and added new revenue to the airport, but they currently have 73 employees and are looking to add more possibly in the next 12 months. So not only did this add new revenue to the airport, but it provided needed jobs to our community. Additionally, we're working with Fort Cavazos to attain property that butts up against the south side of the airfield. There will be approximately 60 to 80 acres there that could be used for aviation development, as well as land around on the fronting 201 that could be used for commercial development. And I say all that to say that the future of Killeen Regional Airport is very, very bright, and we look forward to what's going to come in the next 20 years. We could not have done that, as has already been mentioned, we could not have done that without the help of our state and federal leadership. On behalf of the city of Killeen, I sincerely want to thank all of our U.S. senators and congressmen through the years, as well as our state legislative members that have helped us with grants. And thanks to all of you that have played a part in making GRK what it is today. Thank you.
Mr. Wilson, we're going to have you stay up here for the presentations portion of it. We have a few representatives who are going to present to you, and we're going to do it right over here. And we're going to start with our Mayor Debbie Nash King, and that will be followed by Ms. Jill Wyman from Congressman Cornyn's office.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, I would like to thank you. Thank you and your staff. Are there any council members here? So if you would like, you can come up. But this is on behalf, and Assistant City Manager, please come up. This is on behalf of our City of Killeen, our council, and also our City Manager, who could not be here today, but Mrs. Wilson, our Assistant City Manager, standing in for him. The Aviation Department, on behalf of the City of Killeen, proudly recognize the Aviation Department for 2 decades of outstanding service and contribution to our community. Since opening in 2004, the Killeen Fort Hood Regional Airport and now the Killeen Regional Airport has been a gateway to the world, promoting economic development, growth, connectivity, and exceptional service to travelers. Your dedication and commitment has elevated our city's stature and enriches the lives of our residents. We look forward to many more years of success and innovation. On behalf of the City of Killeen, City Council, and staff, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. We will now call up Representative Brad Buckley, who has a proclamation and a resolution, to present to our Aviation Director and their staff.
So, Mayor, Council, Congressman Edward Scott, could y'all come forward as well? Let's present this the way this place was founded, as a group of local partners. And I'll be brief again, but just on behalf of myself and my 149 colleagues in the Texas House, this resolution just highlights sort of the path of how we got here. And Mike, we could not be more proud of the work that you do and your team. And we cannot be more proud of those that came before you. To those local leaders that really had this vision, it's an amazing accomplishment. Problem is, if I tell Susan where I was today, she'll probably want me to book a trip. But I probably need to do that as well. So congratulations, this resolution passed by the Texas House to celebrate 20 years of this great airport.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And we have 2 more. Miss Jill Wyman from U.S. Congressman John Cornyn's office, followed by Miss Rebecca from the Chamber will be coming up next. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, thank you all. So I am Jill Wyman. I represent Senator Cornyn in the Central Texas region. So I have a letter. I'm sorry he couldn't be here, but you've got me. So I'm going to read a letter from the senator. Dear fellow Texans, congratulations on the 20th anniversary of the Killeen Regional Airport. For 2 decades, this airport has served Central Texans and Fort Cavazos service members as both a commercial airport and a facility to conduct military training operations. Since the Killeen Regional Airport opened its doors in 2004, it has been served by major airlines and chartered many notable flights, including University of Mary Hardin Baylor's football team. It has a nearly 10,000 square foot runway that is capable of landing some of the largest jets currently operated and offers a direct route to Dallas-Fort Worth, which is the 2nd largest airport in the nation and just a 1 pit stop journey to the rest of the world. Access to reliable air travel is critical for Texans and businesses in the region, and I applaud GRK for helping meet this demand. I join you in celebrating today's significant milestone. Keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing all you will accomplish in the next 20 years. Sincerely, John Cornyn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Short and sweet. On behalf of the Greater Killeen Chamber of Commerce, we are so excited to celebrate 20 years with you. So you get a $2 profit to mark this very
That's it, sir. You can have a seat now.
Thank you.
Yes,
Get all my goodies.
Okay, and before we close, we do have, if you did not see, there is a photo mat in the back that everyone is asked to just write your well wishes and your congratulatory notes and messages on in the back, and that was provided by Fort Cavasso. So if you'd like to sign that, please, as you exit or before you leave, please make sure that you sign that photo mat. I'm going to do a closing, and then we are going to have our band, our 1st Cavalry Division band perform. But we also want to remind everybody that we're going to do photos, group photos. Everyone who was on that original plaque in 2004, and I'll call out some names if you need me to, but we're going to have you come up immediately after that performance, and we want you to take a group photo. Also, we have representatives who are here, and they'll raise your hand. That will give tours for anyone who hasn't been here in a while and would like to see a more in-depth tour and behind the scenes look at the airport. Those tours will be provided immediately following this as well. So as we bring today's celebration to a close, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to all of you for joining us in commemorating the 20th anniversary of the city's airport. This has been a day filled with reflection, with recognition, and with inspiration. We have heard from esteemed speakers and witnessed the remarkable impact our airport has had on our city and its residents. The stories and achievements shared today remind us of the power of vision, the power of hard work, and also of collaboration. Our airport stands as a symbol of our city's progress as well as its resilience. It's a gateway to opportunities and a testament to what we can do and achieve when we come together for a common purpose. As we look forward to the future, we're excited about the possibilities that lie ahead. We're committed to continuing the legacy of excellence and also of innovation. It's defined our airport for the last 20 years. Thank you once again to everyone who's contributed to the success of our airport and to today's celebration, because it took a lot for the staff to put this on. Your support, dedication, and passion are what make our community very strong and vibrant. Safe travel on the roads and in the skies. Thank you.